This is the 2020 Kia Soul GT line. Yep, the one with the 1.6 liter turbo motor. It's pretty quick, it's unique, it's insanely practical, and I kinda love it. The Kia Soul is the last of the box cars, the cubes on wheels. You know, that class of vehicle that was mostly started by the introduction of the Scion XB to the US market. The Scion XB faded away in 2015, the Nissan Cube bit the dust in 2014, and the Honda Element kicked the bucket back in 2011. The Kia Soul is the last box standing. Introduced in 2009, it has gone on to be one of Kia's best-selling vehicles. If you're wondering why the anthropomorphic hamsters were always dancing in Kia Soul commercials, it's because they were dancing on the grave of the Scion XB. Kia has sold so many Souls over the years, it's likely they didn't want to stray too far from their successful formula. The new Soul is a little bit longer, a little bit less cutesy, with a little bit more of a space age theme going on. But the design is still quirky, it's still fun, and it still looks like nothing else on the market. These headlights are great. I wish this was a light bar, kind of like the old Mercury Sable, but maybe that's just the 1980s fanboy in me talking. This grille right here is unique to the GT line, and it has what appears to be a bunch of Ys on it. Why is this grille so big? Yes, it's a bit much, but honestly, all new cars have huge gaping maws nowadays, so I can't really fault Kia here. The side profile is unmistakably a Kia Soul with its tapered roofline. Nice touch to add the Soul logo in this black trim right here. The rear of the 2020 Soul is growing on me. I didn't dig it at first, but now I'm really starting to like it, especially the way these taillights light up. The center-mounted exhaust looks nice. Yes, it has a couple fake vents and a fake diffuser, but it's not over the top. This GT line turbo has a cool leather-wrapped flat-bottom steering wheel. It looks and feels great. Ooh, and paddle shifters. The controls are intuitive and well laid out. Got red stitching on the steering wheel, the shifter, the dashboard, the seats. It gives you a subtle reminder that there's something special underneath the hood. There's this cool orangey red design feature by the door handles. These actually light up at night, along with the trim around the speakers. I don't think the interior is quite as funky as the exterior, but it's really quite nice in here. The front seats are quite comfy. The rear seats are pretty good too. Maybe not quite as nice as the front, but they're fine. And this is a small car, so the middle seat is obviously not that great. Probably fine for kids or for a short trip. This top-of-the-line Soul gives you an easy-to-use dual climate control system with a Recirc logo that looks like the Soul. Heated seats, heated steering wheel, heads-up display, sunroof, fold-down armrest with cup holders, 2 USB ports in the front, 1 in the rear, inductive phone charger, and this 10.25-inch widescreen infotainment system. Works great, it's got responsive graphics, CarPlay and Android Auto are standard. I love this system. There's lots of piano black around the infotainment, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I am a huge fan of this gigantic screen. As a proud owner of a 2005 Scion XB, I can attest that box cars are the best. The insane practicality and usability of a box on wheels is hard to beat. The Soul is actually classified as a subcompact car, but it gives you the interior space of a bigger class of vehicle. Case in point, the Soul is actually 6 inches shorter than a Toyota CHR, but the box design gives it 4 more cubic feet of cargo space. 24.2 cubic feet total, to be exact. Also a cool feature, you get 2 different load floor levels, and fold down the seats for a massive 62 cubic feet of space. All right, enough about cargo space, let's drive this thing. I'm a huge fan of sleepers. This car is kind of a sleeper. Yes, it's bright red, but no one expects the Soul to be quick. This is pretty quick, 0 to 60 in about 6.5 seconds. The GT line turbo has the same motor and transmission found in the previous generation Soul turbo. It produces 201 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission powering the front wheels. I'm just jazzed because no other manufacturer really offers a performance drivetrain in the subcompact segment. Your commute just got a whole lot more fun, and it's not at the expense of practicality. I mean, just look at this thing. There's loads of space in here, tons of headroom, excellent visibility, but it's kind of nice that this is not a big car despite its interior dimensions. It's one of the most practical small cars you could get, and it's not at the expense of gas mileage. This car gets 29 miles per gallon combined. The way that I'm driving it right now, I'm probably more likely to get like 24 or 25, but it's easy to get over 30 on the freeway. So let's drop it into sport mode and push it a little bit. Cool, a boost gauge and a torque gauge. That's pretty crazy. And of course, there's no sense being in sport mode without using the paddle shifters. This thing is fun. For a little box on wheels, this is kind of a blast. Okay, yeah, it does lean kind of a lot in the corners, but overall, I'd say it handles pretty well. The steering feel is fine, and it's got a decent amount of grip. I wouldn't call this a veritable canyon carver, but it's certainly way more fun than the average subcompact car. Feel that boost kick in. Oh, and really good brakes. Yeah, the brakes in this thing are excellent. Drop it into third with the paddle shifter. Yeah, this thing's fast. You really do feel that short wheelbase when you're going over these bumps. It's pretty hilarious. It's kind of fun. This dual clutch transmission is pretty good when you're using the paddle shifters. Now, the shifts are not lightning quick, but it's good enough to have a little bit of fun on a back road. When we're in city and suburban traffic, that's where this transmission starts to show a few of its weaknesses. It seems like it can be kind of indecisive at times. So let's say you want to pull out into traffic, and whoops, there's a car coming a little bit faster than you anticipated. So you step on the throttle, and not much happens. And then you step just a touch harder, and it rips into a downshift, freaking out, sending way too much power to the front wheels. And then you spin the tires, and you look kind of silly. That delay seems partially due to how the throttle is mapped, or the transmission not wanting to downshift, or perhaps even a little bit of turbo lag for those times when you really need it to kick in right away. It doesn't always seem to do it with the expected level of power. Putting the car into sport mode and using the paddle shifters does seem to alleviate most of those issues. But you may not always want your car in sport mode, and you may not always want to use the paddle shifters, as that will probably affect your fuel economy. The Soul GT Line Turbo comes with a full suite of Kia's safety features, from rear cross traffic alert, collision warning, lane keep assist, and adaptive cruise control. It's great that Kia offers all of these safety features in an entry-level vehicle. I really like spending time in here. The interior is nice, it's got a lot of features and thoughtful touches, it's fast, it's fun, it's friendly. Speaking of friendly, I thought we could take this friendly little Korean vehicle on a little trip down to the Korean Friendship Bell in San Pedro, California. But first I need to make a quick stop at home to pick up my wife and daughter.
So where are we going today, kiddo? Do you remember?
To Friendship.
All right, so here we are at the Friendship Bell. Let's go take a look around.
Perched on a knoll with sweeping views of the Pacific Ocean is the Korean Bell of Friendship. This majestic pavilion and massive bell were a gift of the Republic of Korea to the United States as a display of friendship, to celebrate the US bicentennial, and to honor the veterans of the Korean War. Cast in Korea and crafted using traditional Korean bell-making techniques, the Friendship Bell weighs 17 tons and is one of the largest in the world. The bell is embellished with imagery of goddesses, symbolizing the spirits of freedom, independence, peace, and prosperity.
Adorned with intricate details, along with traditional emblems and colors, the pavilion was built over the course of 10 months by 30 Korean artisans.
So we just walked down the hill from the Friendship Bell just a little bit, and we stumbled upon these old gun turret locations. I had no idea these were down here.
The Korean Friendship Bell sits on a hill that was formerly a section of Fort MacArthur, once responsible for protecting the Southern California coastline. And right below the bell are these abandoned ammunition storage bunkers. Right here are the foundations for artillery mounting rigs, allowing 155mm batteries to be rotated 360 degrees. From this very point, you'd be able to see where US troops sailed into the Pacific.
We set off today to investigate a symbol of friendship, and we ended up stumbling upon a reminder of a violent past.
While the drivetrain of this GT Line Turbo is not perfect, I'm never going to talk down about auto manufacturers aiming to give consumers a performance option with more power, more engagement, and more fun. No, this is not a Volkswagen GTI, but it's super entertaining in its own way. Yes, you definitely need to get accustomed to the throttle response and the quirks of the dual clutch transmission, but putting it into sport mode and using the paddle shifters on a spirited backroad cruise can quickly make you forget about those drawbacks. Let's talk price. The base Kia Soul starts at about $18,000. This GT line with a turbo motor comes in at nearly $29,000. That's kind of a lot of money for a subcompact car. $29,000 is approaching the Volkswagen GTI in price, a decidedly more upscale option with sportier handling. And if you don't desire the hopped-up motor underneath the hood of this GT Line Turbo, you could consider one of the other 5 Kia Soul trim levels, all with significantly lower starting prices. The 2020 Soul GT Line Turbo is a great choice if you want something unique, insanely practical, and fun, and something that won't get lost in a sea of Civics, Corollas, and Elantras. There needs to be more cars like the Kia Soul sold in the US. Honda, give us the N-Wagon. Toyota, bring over the Sienta and the Tank. And for the love of all things box, please manufacture the TJ Cruiser, please. That thing is awesome. We need more box cars in the US. As a true lover of box cars, this little Soul has really lifted my spirits, truly. I've really enjoyed this car. The power is there when you need it. It's got a ton of space in the back. It's not too big. It's incredibly easy to maneuver and park. It gets good gas mileage. It's loaded with features and safety tech. And one of my favorite things about this car, even with its bright red paint, this quirky little box is kind of a sleeper. Nobody expects it to be quick, and that's one of the things that makes it so much fun. I kind of love it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe and hit that bell icon so you can be notified of my new and used car reviews, road trip stories, and updates on my fleet of weird vehicles. Thanks so much. See you later.
Just bought this kid.